We could have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the parents' lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the parents' lounge is the cure to staying sane. Welcome to another episode of the Parents Sick Lounge.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming to you almost live from the emergency room tonight because all of us are, I think everyone on Earth, right? Is it everyone on Earth person is sick?
Yeah, I heard something about a pandemic and the stomach bug. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, welcome. This is going to be your oasis of parenting where you get to actually sit back, listen to us, and go, oh, my life's not quite as horrible as I thought it was. I'm Jamie Kaler, joined as always by my partner, Jason Gowan. We also have our resident moms, Claire Kramer and Kate Mulligan. Hey, guys.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, we look so beautiful today.
Hey, full credit to both of you for coming in.
Claire especially. No, Claire especially.
Yeah.
Claire was like, I don't think I can make it. I was like, eh.
Kate
How you doing, Claire?
Supporting me with her mask and everything else. I could not even put on makeup. I put a beanie on, and here I am. So hi, peace, love, everybody.
Claire's super sick, and I have a super big Helen Hunt forehead. So this actually works out perfectly.
You're
this
like
just covers my big Helen Hunt forehead.
I never noticed about your forehead big.
Claire.
I don't know.
We got trouble right here in River City.
I like it. I like it.
I actually think for actors, a big forehead's great because it just accentuates the face more.
Well, you know what's great for actors is being an actor.
They say big heads book. Like the bigger the head, the more the top of the, top of the call sheet, the more money you get.
Well, I've got some bookings coming for me then.
Yeah, I was gonna say
friggin' enormous.
I think we're underselling the skill part because my head's been this big my whole life, and I've never had any acting skill to speak of. So
might be because it looks like you're wearing a thong on your head right now.
It's a jockstrap. How dare you?
It's okay. Who can name this movie? Son, you got a panty on your head.
Weird Science.
Weird Science. Arizona.
Oh man,
one of the best movies ever made.
Ever? How do we, son? You got a panty on your head.
Son, you got a panty on your head.
Mr. Kaler, our buddy Dave Schrader is here. If you'd like to bring him in.
I mean, honestly, well, let's just really quickly tell everyone that the four of us have I think 3 out of the 4 have recently spent an extended period of time at their house with their children, not going out anywhere. And, normally I would say, I hope everyone had a good Christmas, but I'm just going to say, I'm glad to see everybody survive Christmas. And so we'll tell a lot of Christmas stories tonight. And I think hopefully we'll make everyone else out there who, I don't know about you guys, everyone I've talked to is like, horrible. It's like, please, for the love of God, 22, maybe 23, come as soon as humanly possible, and let's get through this thing. So,
are we just watching 22 already? We're just like, it's not gonna happen.
I'm done. We'll get into it. Let's bring our old pal Dave Schrader in. Mr. Schrader.
Hello,
what's up, Rudolph.
Yes.
Good to see you. I'm masking up because I heard there's COVID amongst us.
Yes.
Yeah, and from what I understand, you can get it. You can get it over the computer.
You can get it by suggestion.
Computer virus, Jamie Kaler.
Yeah.
Maybe
you know what?
look it up.
Oh, wait a minute! I have the Mac Keeper here. Do I need to scan my computer?
And while we're talking about fallacies, let me just tell you: the bigger the forehead does not get you more bookings.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave.
You have a new paranormal show like every other week. Like every other week, you're on a new show.
That's true.
Yeah, but
Dave.
I don't last long, so it just doesn't count.
But it's not for lack of talent.
Yeah, but that's also, you're dealing with the dead. You know what I mean? They're an unreliable sort. Oh, we're going off. Okay, we're taking the mask.
How was everybody's Christmas? Mulligan, we'll start with you because I know that you had some issues.
Well, so Dave, nice to meet you. So we're here in the Midwest visiting my parents, and my father is undergoing chemo, and so no one can get sick. And immediately upon landing, my son was sick. We've taken 2 COVID tests, and my son and I are not sick, but we got sick a Sunday ago. It's now been a week and a half, and we're both still. We were actually.
I love that you were shocked that you were like, I can't believe it. My kid got sick around the holidays. It was weird.
But here's the thing, like, masks do seem to work. This is the thing that I can't quite figure out. He wears a mask at school, and he wore a KN95 on the plane. Like, where is he he's not getting COVID. So where is he getting croup? Like, where are these viruses sneaking in from? Like, that's the thing.
Library book, anywhere really.
How dare you suggest we read in this house? How dare you?
It is definitely being broadcast to us through the 5G network. That's what we're all getting.
Oh, okay. Yes. I had forgotten about that.
Well, there it is. But honestly, I mean, I hate to say it, Kayla. I know the line I was supposed to toe today was that Christmas was terrible. It wasn't for us. It was sort of lovely and low key. And, we can't leave because or see anybody, and none of my high school friends. But
hold on, there was no talking points. I didn't deliver.
No, I'm saying that we're all. No.
I hope you had a good Christmas.
Sorry, so Jamie, I'm going off script here, but
I told you what to say, Kate. Don't ever go off script.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think everybody else probably had a worse actual Christmas than me. I do feel like there's tension here. A sick house is a sick home. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know. All right, we'll get to that. Well, look, five frames is so uncomfortable to me that I asked my buddy Carlos Alazraki to join us and tell some Christmas holiday stories as well. So let's just even it out and make it 6.
6.
Please welcome.
Oh, what am I? Peter Billingsley? Which one am I? Ann B. Davis?
Yeah,
I'm the housekeeper. It's a woke Brady Bunch. It's a male housekeeper.
Hey, buddy. Carlos, do you know Dave Schrader?
Yes,
of course.
Dave, we were on last year. Hi, Kate. Hi,
Carlos. It's funny. One of my best friends in the world is a friend of yours, Mindy Cartiala.
Oh yeah, Mindy's awesome.
Yeah,
fabulous.
Kate,
yeah,
again, going off script with private little intimate stories.
Private Burbank. There's some Burbank stuff going on.
She name drops anytime anybody comes on this show. She starts her shit.
She does. Anytime anybody's on, Mulligan's always like, "Oh my God." You know what's really weird? At the show you were on, there was a guy who was there who had a makeup
I know
artist
everybody.
whose husband was one time
He knows everybody.
ordering a pizza in the same restaurant. It was crazy.
To be clear, Mindy name dropped Carlos to me. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm friends with the guy. Oh, you might have known him. He was on Reno 911." And I was like, "Is that Carlos Alazraki?"
No, name dropping me is like picking an E in Scrabble. There's 12 of us. It's not really that rare. Like, bigger name drop, please. You want a Z or a Q or an X?
First, I was like, "Thomas Lennon? You know Thomas Lennon?"
Yeah,
Jake.
I know these people. But I have to say, I've been overhearing all your tales of Christmas. Wife got COVID, the Omicron version. Yep. I've seen Lloyd in the abandoned bar at the Overlook Hotel about 4 times this week. Can't do it anymore, Lloyd. Never knew how much fucking... I didn't know how bad it was. 0.0 with my 2 girls. I've left my license somewhere at a store. I can't do. I don't know how she did it. I don't know how you do it, Jamie. I'm like,
I have 11 months. In the last 11 months, I quarantined 1 whole month.
Wow, you're racking up the.
I had it twice.
You know what it is?
One time I didn't get it.
You're getting frequent quarantining miles right now. You're going to be a million-mile quarantiner.
Yeah, 3rd time I've had it. I had it before anybody knew what it was, when it almost killed me. And then I had it a 2nd time at like a 9, and then this time was like a 3. I was fully vaccinated. I was 2 days away from getting boosted. I went to schedule my boost, and we all got. They called me to pick up my daughter from school, and I was like, "Oh shoot!" So I took her and got her tested, and she tested negative. and the other one and I tested positive. I was like,
Wait,
Oh,
have
wow.
you had all of the
Merry
variants
Christmas.
now? Like which was your favorite variant?
Yeah.
Oh man, you wear like a letter
well,
jacket.
My favorite is Delta House, I would imagine, because
You got to get the letter jacket. Omicron, Delta.
Belushi, I liked the whole Delta House thing. The
I mean,
Omicron
like
House might
this
be
whole
cool, might be cool.
coronavirus is becoming like a can of Coke. You got the original classic.
Yeah.
You got diet. You got
Onion
COVID
Coke
zero.
sucks.
I can't wait till Crystal Coke comes out.
Yes.
Well, let's
Crystal
talk to
COVID.
Claire, who's actually feels absolutely terrible, and we begged her to come onto the show
And
tonight.
still showed up. What a trooper, huh?
No, it's all good. Yes, I am also in the house of COVID. I'm in the Omicron
There
house.
is a
Hey.
My 4 children, their father, we all have it.
Wow.
Randomly,
Oh, you got it at the
again,
same time.
very similar, showed up in a school screening. My daughter, asymptomatic, completely asymptomatic. All the kids asymptomatic. Their father, 90% asymptomatic. Me, sick as a dog.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Not sick as a dog, but definitely like the one who has like the headaches and is tired. Of course, that could just be from momming also.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
know, and continually doing that. But we had to postpone Christmas. We had to write Santa a letter that we didn't, we skip our house and come back the next night.
Would you like me to pull that letter up, Claire?
We didn't have shit done.
Yeah.
Claire, do you want me to show the letter?
Yeah. And in fact, yeah, you can pull it out. Yeah, I'll read it. Dear Santa, unfortunately, we have 3 people in our house that is sick, including my daughter River and my youngest child Sky. We've been so overwhelmed that we didn't get a chance to leave you cookies, aka buy presents.
Oh.
I know it's a lot to ask, but do you think you could just postpone your drop to our house just one night? It would mean the world to us if we could leave you something. Thank you.
I'm not a goddamn UPS man. Come one night only.
Oh, my ass.
Santa wrote back and he said, the Keithleys, I'm so sorry that your family is sick. I will be in, now we're not sure if it means it's New Zealand or New York, but either way, and something, but I will do my best to stop back by. Santa Claus. And then he drew what Ryan describes as the world's best rendering of a reindeer.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not
Tree
bad.
and a candy cane. So this did buy us another day, which we needed.
Smart.
But you still have to go do some stuff.
My wife sat outside the French doors on the patio watching us open gifts like she was Eddie Albert in The Longest
No.
Yard in the stand. Watching
No.
with binoculars. What are they doing over there?
No. You put her out like the
Yeah.
dog.
Like a dog. Get away from us. We want to have a Merry Christmas. You go sniffle, sneeze, do whatever you want. Get the fuck away from us. Merry Christmas.
Where did she know where she was exposed? That you guys also that
It
you
was
weren't?
one of those white elephant parties, we think now, because
Okay.
two of the
What
other
a
ladies tested positive.
Okay.
And they were all
Well-
vaxxed. They were all
Yeah,
vaxxed,
yeah.
and the doors were open when they had their little get together. But
Guys, Mindy Cartiala, she's the worst.
that
Name
Mindy
drop it again.
Garciella.
Let's check in with Mr. Schrader. Dave, how was your Christmas up there, buddy?
Well, you guys all sound like you had a horrible time. Mine was kind of a vision of majesty. Have any of you ever seen the fountains outside the Bellagio?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know how beautiful and magical it is the way they launch. And every hour you go out there and they're firing off. That's a lot like my house on Christmas Eve, only it was vomit. Every child began vomiting every hour on the hour. I just needed a blind opera singer in here doing the right. It was the worst. We have had 3 days of nonstop vomit and diarrhea, and I can't even say I've lost any weight from it, but I am pooping from food I have not yet eaten. So I had first day it was like crayon bits
Just
from
take it and
kindergarten.
dump it into the toilet.
Now I'm
He
like
actually
looking.
threw up food I had eaten.
Yes, I told Gowan, I go, Gowan, did you eat corn? He said, I did. I go, knock it off. It's killing me.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
You got the voodoo virus.
it's brutal.
Well,
Everybody,
you know what,
even the
Dave?
dog this morning started puking on my
But
on my
it's not-
floor.
It's not corona. It's just a stomach flu or a stomach bug.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
But okay, so Dave, you
Uh-huh.
guys may, and Jamie and Jason and Kate, you guys may remember my story about my son throwing up on the court of the in the final game last week.
Right.
So we also rang in the holiday with, bodily extraction, puke and whatnot.
All
then
the
we
who's
turned
and
it into COVID.
who-wills were shitting around the tree. Sorry.
And the Grinch himself vomited up the roast beast.
I can
Grinch had
verify he
blood Ebola.
did.
Wow. Threw up on the basketball court? During this time, did people panic and just was it a Poseidon adventure?
My
And
son,
people.
it was actually an indoor soccer court, and he did have the wherewithal to come over to me 90 seconds before the game started. This is like the regional finals, going into the national tournament, and he's like, I'm gonna throw up. And I know he's not a nervous kid. He doesn't get nervous. He's high performing, whatever. So I'm like, okay. I'm like getting a bag ready, but he, so that was the
That's
start
when you
of
send them over to the visitors bench.
Yeah.
and tell them to look wandering and confused, and then just cover the bench, and then automatic
so you guys
win.
have been laid out. Everybody's had to have the version of we've
Dave,
come off
yeah.
pretty unscathed.
Did
but
your
here's interesting? I was on a group text with my neighborhood, basically everyone on my street, and I'm like, oh yeah, we've been sick. I didn't go into detail. My one neighbor down the way, she's like, yeah, I had diarrhea 5 times Christmas morning. I was like, I don't know, girl, that's a little oversharing, don't you think? I mean, Kate, would you do something like that on a neighborhood text?
100% I would. I think most people know about my bowels. I've sent out pictures of my latest colonoscopy.
It's actually on the Mulligan family Christmas card.
It's honestly, it's just, look how clean I am,
Yeah.
Look at the polyp they took out. Guys, it's all good. You know what? I'm just one of those
You guys
people
know for 1 second, I'm freezing. Can you see that?
Yeah.
I keep missing everything, and so I leave. Did you freeze again? Everybody froze again.
No, we were all wrapped.
Everybody's frozen. I keep coming in for little sentences. I come in and all I heard was Claire go, she had diarrhea 5 times Christmas morning. Then I went away.
Yeah, your computer's got Omicron.
All I heard was Kate go, sure, all those polyps are gone. I'm catching just tiny.
You're catching all the right parts.
You're actually talking about your act.
But you're not even going to get that joke because you're not even hearing it. Probably.
Yeah, I get it. Trust me. I got it.
We are a microcosm of conversations of people Zooming all over the world, I'm sure, just talking about our sickness and how we're coping with it. It's like, this is new. I just finished watching Don't Look Up, which I enjoyed. Didn't think it was amazing, but boy, the nails it on the head, right?
I really like it. I think when you're sick in it's like watching a movie on an airplane. Have you ever watched a movie on an airplane and then you get off and you're like, God, that was a really good movie. And then you watch it again years later, at your house, and you're like, how the hell did I get through this thing?
To be clear,
trapped on a plane, and you just so I was sick at home, and I was like, Don't Look Up was great. I love The Matrix. I liked Being the Ricardos. It was just anything.
Wow, you're catching it all.
By the way, Jamie just thought we were talking about the movie Up only because his computer cut out, so all he heard was Up. A good movie, Jamie. Also a really good movie.
Good.
So I by being front loaded, I think I would have not enjoyed Don't Look Up as much. I thought it was complete social commentary about our last 2 years. Now I'm reading that it's all about greenhouse effect.
It's about global warming.
Yeah, global warming. That's not what I picked up from it at all. But I'm kind of out of touch. But to me, it just looked like it just looked like everything about it was just a complete send up of the last year and a half, 2 years of our lives, and following leaders that seem to not know what they're doing in any direction, and a picture perfect doctor to be the guy to be the front load for us all. So I enjoyed it for the satire, but then to hear it was all about global warming, I'm still.
Yeah, I can tell you, I was very insulted that they had Leo DiCaprio basically, doing a version of who I am, and why not go with somebody my age? I thought that McKay was woke, but apparently he's an ageist.
Because he had to be a hot doctor in order to nail Kate Blanchett. Spoiler alert.
Oh
my God.
Yeah, hey, no spoilers, by the way.
But we're all
late for me now,
right? We're all taking comfort in the fact that we've shared the same experience of being sick and adjusting our Christmases and doing all those. It's a surreality that when we just view it from our own viewpoint is so narrow, but then we're like, oh yeah, everybody had to adjust this holiday season. Everybody's going to have to adjust going forward. So there's some comfort in what you're doing here, David.
Question to everybody: how? Obviously, here was the dilemma. Like if it was just me alone, I would have holed up and just. But you can't. We had kids. I mean, clearly, what you did was so ingenious. Really, we didn't do that because I just rallied. Like, luckily, in a weird way, the end of our quarantine was like the 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. But here's what's funny: I didn't get my wife anything because we had planned to go that weekend. She had already gotten everything, so I told her, I was like, I don't have anything for you. So we took a couple things she already owned and we just wrapped them, and put them under the tree. So she'd go, "Hey, look what I got!" I gotta tell you something. So here's the question I want to ask everybody. And then I'm going to tell you something is that I want to know what you guys did to go out of your way to make it super special for your kids. Because I think that's what's amazing. Like how many parents I spoke to, Claire, what you did is so ingenious that I think that needs to almost be used again by others. But here's what happened. On Christmas, Claire goes, "Hey, how come you and Mama didn't get me any presents? How come only Santa got us presents?" And like, I was like, "What? Wait, hold on. What?" Like, she thinks we didn't get her anything, that everything's from, and she was kind of like perturbed. Oddly enough, Santa got everything she had asked for. It was just freakish luck on her part. But she was really kind of upset, and part of me wanted to just go, "Hey, fuck you. I am. I did, but it was like, it broke my heart. Like,
you should ask Winnie about this because we had this same meltdown by me about a year ago. She's like, "Oh, I got them this video game system from Santa and I got them this gift." And I'm like, "Bullshit. Do you know how hard we work to get those? Give them some fucking Slim Jims from Santa. This shit's from Dad and Mom."
That's what my parents always did.
Yeah.
So these were from these. We opened the ones from the parents the night before, and then there was a handful that were Christmas morning, and those were from
the Dollar Tree. Yeah.
But let's be honest, it's Samazon Claus got you these gifts. When we say I got you these gifts, we just freaking ordered online. It's not like we went to a Black Friday and had to punch somebody in the face to get a rare doll. You just went click, click, click. You don't realize how hard I worked to get your gifts. Type.
No, but Carlos, do you want to see how hard I worked? Take a gander at that, bitch.
Oh yeah, you had to build that son of a bitch.
That was probably 7,000 pieces. Luckily,
he actually hand whittled those tables.
Are those marble countertops?
Yeah,
unbelievable.
It came as a tree. It just came as a tree, and Jason's right. I had to saw the thing into pieces.
Let me give you guys.
I was like,
show me the blueprints, and I'll be impressed.
It's from IKEA. There are no blueprints. Let me
Rainbow High. Actually,
let me give all of you parents a quick little subtle secret to never having to build a thing again.
Okay.
You just keep watching the store till they're out of stock, and then you buy the floor model at a 20% discount, pre-built. You're welcome.
That's how some people get married. Listen, the whole sorority was taken. There was that floor model.
So what's special?
Jamie, we have to let that breathe just a little longer. I'm sorry. We cannot go on to the next topic until we are done laughing about.
I mean, maybe he should button it one more time. Let's do it. Let's hit it one more time.
I got no buttons. Leave me alone.
Oh my god. Woo. Is the sound working now, folks? Oh my god.
What else? What else did you guys do that was about? Like, actually, we had a pretty good Christmas. I just didn't feel right. I didn't feel great.
You know what I did?
Hey, I have all this energy. I do stuff, and then I would take a nap. And I'd have weird dreams. Did you guys have weird dreams? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but also I was also high. So just so we're clear, that was part of it.
I'm not sure if it was the or the dream or the COVID.
The crazy dreams, and I had vertigo. Unbelievable. Like it felt like I ate a pot brownie, like back in when I went to Radiohead and had that second brownie. I was like, "Oh."
Okay, I had a dream so clear, those type of dreams where you're like, this is not a dream. What am I going to do? This is my life, that I could not open my eyes. Not that I was blind, but that I couldn't open
Bird Box
eyes. And I was like, I need to open my eye. I was like in my dream trying to, and then I thought in my dream, well, I'm just going to spend the rest of my life blind. and this is how it's going to be. And it was
weird.
ongoing. It felt like it was like hours and hours of me like, trying to process this, but really it was probably like 2 minutes.
There's something called
I licked a frog in South America or something. I was like, oh, I don't know.
Ayahuasca.
There's something called sleep paralysis, Claire, which I've had before, which is the absolute worst, where it's like you're asleep and you try to wake yourself up, but you can't physically move your body, and it's like your body, like it's like your brain wakes up before your body does. Anyway. Mm-hmm. I didn't say it was a good story, guys, but boy, oh boy.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Hey, keep your college dating stories to yourself, will you?
What's going on, Clarence? You have sleep paralysis.
There's something called sleep paralysis. It usually happens after you go to a bar and a man gives you a drink, a man that you've never met before, and then you wake up and there's a bar. You're right, Jamie. This was just a college story.
Actually, does everybody want to feel good about their life choices?
Can't
for
get
2
this thing
seconds?
on my
Jason,
face. It's like Alien.
Jason, tell everybody what your kids did to you today. This will make you all feel better.
Fuck those little assholes. Yeah.
New on Disney Plus.
So we have an elderly Chihuahua. He's 12, and we got snow here, and he can't come back up our back steps during the winter time because his hips give out. So I went just down to get him, and I came back still in my pajamas. And the little shits locked me out. The twins at 2-year-old locked me out of the house and stood in the doorway laughing maniacally. Like, and I was like, if you two fuckers don't open this door, I'm coming through that window and I will end both of you right now. Oh, man. They did it. So I had to go around the front of our house holding the Chihuahua, and I had to break into our window. I broke our screen. I had to come in the window because my wife was working and our oldest was still asleep.
You got Home Alone.
What's that?
You got Home Alone.
I did by my own kids.
Yeah.
And I got in there.
Lock them out. How do you not go in, pick them up, put them out, and lock the door? That's what I would do.
I should have Flintstoned them. I should have. But yeah. I guess child endangerment, there were issues. I was really fuzzy on the entire thing. And then 2 minutes later, they spilled cereal all over the ground. They were on a warpath against me today. They spread, here, I'll show you. Lunchtime, I was like, I'm not going to prepare them a decent lunch today. I'm just going to make them SpaghettiOs. They threw it on the floor like wild cavemen. Oh, however, the dogs ate well.
I was going to say the dogs are pretty excited about the whole
thing. Wait a minute. That Chihuahua's living its best.
No, wait. Actually, that was a picture of Claire's house.
I'm curious, Jason, was this lunch debacle after being locked outside?
Yes.
Well, after seeing the rage in your eyes, would you have trusted the food that you gave to your son? Yeah. Your kids were giving it to the dog to test it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. I didn't think you realized they're still eating them off the floor.
That's really funny, Dave.
Yes, but first they let the dogs have some.
They let the dogs test it to make sure it was safe, and then they're like, "Yeah, it's okay, I guess."
I'm telling you, you're gonna see Lloyd in your dreams tonight, and you won't be able to wake up. It'll be another sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis, if you will.
Can't get off this stool, Lloyd. Don't know what's going on, but I'm enjoying it.
We had also my in-laws came, and we had just finished, and we still didn't feel great, and my in-laws were here. And they said at one point they wanted to go to the Santa Monica Pier, which is, it's a zoo, right? Everyone from LA it's such a touristy thing, but it wasn't. Here's what caught me off guard. They didn't say, "Hey, we should go to the pier. It seems like it's fun. There's a roller coaster. It's near the beach." Here's what she said. She said, "Hey, I think we should all go to the pier. It'll make for a great photo." Wow. And I was like, did you hear what you just said? Like that's how everyone thinks nowadays. She's already planning her Instagram post. It has nothing to do with how the day's going to go and what fun's going to be had. It's like,
you're in luck. I've got this green screen here.
Yep.
Look at this. That's right. There's a pier right there.
So everyone sit down.
Yeah. Next year, take your mom to Green Screen Paris. And then green screen Notre Dame.
Like people do think that way because we had the cousins. All they wanted to do was jump. We put a mattress down for the extra child. All they did was play pillow fight and jump up and down. It was super fun. But the parents had this mindset of like, we need to take them somewhere. We need to go do something. And I'm like, we don't.
Yeah.
No.
All they want to do, he came from England, all they want to do is hang and play. And here's what they did. It was super, we actually had a pretty good time considering how horrible it all went. Like, this is my cousin, this is Dan's cousin, and so they did a young scientist kid.
Yes.
Or making meth, whatever story you want to stick with.
The protective goggles, right?
Wow.
And
that is the junior meth kid, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
it is. Honestly, you had two choices. You could make meth or slime. That was it. Or you could make slime meth, which was kind of a cool composite.
Yo,
That's
what's up,
tastier.
bitches? Let's make shit in the kitchen. Yes. What are we making, bitches?
Santa
Carlos,
won't
what you
be the
guys
only
do?
one
What
knocking.
you guys do with the kids, man? Did you do anything crazy?
I took them on bike rides, but always has to be a destination bike ride to get them on a bike. So we biked to Starbucks so that they could get their Starbucks drinks. But bike riding, we let them stay up late. We've been playing some Uno, been watching movies together. As a matter of fact, I got to hop off pretty soon. They're gonna see Ron's Gone Wrong for the second time. I'm gonna watch it for the first time. But we just try and do walks around the block at night when it's really cold and cozy up. That got mom out of the house, so nothing much. We pretty much were dedicated to spending this break in quarantine, and we played ring toss in the backyard so mom could come out and play. Very boring stuff. Nothing super
All right, so
exciting.
wait, Carlos, how old are your kids?
Yeah, and how many
10 and
are
7.
there?
10 and
10 and
7, 2
7.
girls.
10 and 7. Okay. So yes, if you're dedicated to spending it in quarantine, which clearly I am as well, may I recommend like board games in addition to cards, board games, and the strategic board games seem to go over really well with my family. So
Okay.
Strategy is something that is a lifelong skill. Let me just preach here for a moment, but
Yeah.
but it's and also takes up hours and hours of stay, so it's good.
Yeah. I got to work on their attention span to get to the point where they want to play a board game. Seriously, I am remiss that I cannot find Trouble. That's the one pop-up dice game that they seem to like that. If only forgetting to push that plastic dome and watching it pop up. But yeah, like Monopoly and stuff, they lose interest and they start fighting.
Oh, you know what? Just try Settlers of Catan or maybe Axis and Allies. I don't know. One of them.
Actually, I think we've talked about this. My kids love Risk. They love Catan. They don't play the kids version. They play the adult version. And they love, well, we have a couple different games. They also love poker. We've taught them
nice.
Straight up poker, and we taught them this game called In Between, which is really fun, where you guess what, you deal the cards and then they have to bet with what's in between the two cards that are showing up. It's a very basic form of gambling. But
mine would turn in. Okay, mine would turn
Smart,
into
get them hooked early.
Yours would turn into what?
Texas Throw Them.
Oh yeah. Well, I have 2 your age and 2 additionals. So I'm telling you, 7 and 10 is not too young to start on these type of Risk, Axis and Allies, Catan. They can play it. They can.
Yeah. You have the Von Trapps. I have the 3 Stooges or the 2 Stooges.
That's how everyone's like, how does the game of Monopoly end? Well, it ends when one dude just flips the board and goes, fuck this shit.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I'm off to go see Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays,
Love
everybody. Happy New
Good
Year.
to see you, buddy.
See you in the new year,
I'm going to go upstairs. My girls are going to be like on their iPads. They're not
Everybody,
going to go.
Carlos Alas Rocky.
All right.
See you, pal.
And then there were 5.
7
I
and
thought
10.
that guy was never going to leave. God almighty.
Blah, 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 blah.
7 and 10 is also a good age to start teaching them about NyQuil shooters.
So,
Okay, so I'm not even joking. Of course, we went to the grocery. We bought everything you buy, or actually, we didn't go to the grocery. We did a Ralph's order, and got everything delivered, including the pies, including the whipped creams. They didn't have the whipped cream in the tub, so they brought us the cans. So my kids have now started doing whippets. And then they're like, it makes me feel really good. And I'm like, you can't do that. And then, it's just going downhill from there. But yes, they are starting to learn how to experiment with things, including the whipped cream thing. And my 11-year-old's like, I Googled it, and the reason mom doesn't want you to do it is because it can make you high. But
I can't
Would
wait.
it be a buzzkill, Mom?
I can't wait till the one day you come home and one of them's got an entire container of Cool Whip upside down and trying to get the same effect out of it. Nothing's happening.
it's not the cream, ding dong. That's funny. That's super funny.
But I I have a Santa question for you guys, especially like Jason, Jamie, you got Kate, you have a younger son.
Yeah.
We have had a strict Santa doesn't do electronics because it feels like it evens the playing field with families that are unable to purchase their children electronics. So I'm curious, have you guys heard anything about this? Do you agree, disagree? What is your stance on Santa and electronics?
That's actually such a sweet question because it's something I've never really considered about like curbing Santa so that when
Wait, you're saying Santa can't give electronics?
Meaning like when the kids compare at school, like what'd Santa bring you? And like there's a kid in class who's like, I got a basketball. And like your kid's like, I got an iPad and a
car. Like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I never
God.
No,
it's not a good idea. What are you going to give him a placement ribbon next? You just teach him fucking Santa loves some kids more than others. That's just the way of the world.
Santa is a classist and always has been.
I mean, for God's sakes. Just
Santa
he still has little people working for him at slave wages. He doesn't care. Santa's the honey badger of all of the mythical creatures.
Santa
LA is kind of crazy like that too. Like where I grew up, I think probably the disparity in wealth of the parents was very minimal in my whole neighborhood.
Right.
But I would say in my neighborhood, the wealth disparity is millions from the low, somebody who's like just surviving to like some guy half a block away. Demi Lovato's down the street, like not like on my street, but close enough.
Jamie, Jamie, what you're telling us.
So the disparity of kids in our school is, or any of the schools around here, is going to be.
So what you're telling us is that your kids are going to be going to school to tell them how Daddy rewrapped things that he'd given Mama years ago. That's how bad things are at the Kaler house.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't care. I don't. I really don't. I don't want them to ever think that way. I don't. It's like I don't need. I think we've given them too much. Like I have a picture of the tree that has a presents under, and I'm like, this is gluttonous, man. This is insanity. It's just too much.
You know what? Because of us having, obviously, I brought up this topic because number one, we don't give our kids electronics from Santa, and they don't even have iPads, phones. I have a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old who want to murder me for not having a phone, and I'm like, hey, whatever.
Yeah,
not my problem.
Send me a text about it. Oh wait, you can.
All their communication goes through my phone, so I can see whatever I want, and I totally control when and if they choose to interact. So anyway, point is, this year also because of COVID, we had an extremely lean Christmas. Like it was because basically we were shopping. We got the notification that one of my kids had randomly tested positive from the St. Francis or our school's test on Wednesday. And we just aborted all the shopping. It was done. And so whatever we had. And so we were like, hey, listen, guys, you guys may think this looks super lean and it feels that way to us too. And I'm sure Santa feels that way too. However, think of all the families we donated to who literally have nothing, and it was just an interesting juxtaposition because we're always the family again that has everything under the tree. Same thing. And so it was such a different year,
But nothing crazy expensive. Like we didn't do electronics, but it's just the gluttony of toys where you're like, really? Another doll, come on, man, really? Another craft kit that they're going to use for 8 seconds when you could just use construction paper and build something. But I'm like, I'm so over the shit. I'm so over it, man. It drives me insane.
We've been also trying to do like experiences. Have you guys dipped into that? Like,
we talked about it today. I want to go to Hawaii next year. I don't want to even do Christmas. I just want to go to Hawaii and get out of here.
Let's do a parent lounge in Hawaii.
I love that idea.
Actually, that's what we're doing. Booking. Trader's coming in as our special guest.
Jamie, how about this? While you're in Hawaii, our family will come stay in your house and keep an eye on it, and that'll be our adventure.
Yeah,
and we know Demi Lovato's in the neighborhood, so Dave, I'll stop by and we can case them.
Well, it'd be great if you came too, Jason, because that way you guys could split the day rate that I'm going to charge you. It's going to work out perfectly. Fantastic.
And I lived in Hawaii for 3 years, so I can do a tour.
Well, Jason, prison isn't really living in Hawaii.
I was a beach transient, Schrader. Shut it.
Honestly, a prison in Hawaii Sounds way better than what's been happening for the last 2 years here. So
Not if you're white.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I burned in
I feel like you could do
8.7
something
seconds in
really
Hawaii.
amazing,
Yeah.
like on Waikiki, like that whole, what is that song? Like Christmas on the beach of Waikiki, going caroling up and down.
We're gonna leave you out there alone because none of us know it.
I
We
know.
apologize.
I
Keep going. I like it,
I
man.
lived in Waikiki Beach, and I used to, because I'm whiter than what I'm almost clear. I
Look
would
at this panel.
I
I
forget
don't
that.
think
Yeah.
any of us.
So
are like,
anyway,
"Oh, I'm really tan. Well,
I would just walk into the resorts in Waikiki Beach, and no one ever questioned that I wasn't a tourist. So I would use all the amenities for like all the nice beaches, hot tubs, and everything, and no one ever questioned me ever. Do you know how many buffets I took? Obviously, a few. So yeah, it was a good time.
When I go to Ireland, I just walk behind the bar, wash a couple glasses, then pour a pint, and just walk away. And they go, that dude must work here. He just
Yeah.
must.
Same kind of thing happened to me.
you guys
Let me tell you,
remember?
I did this for Christmas morning. We had to. So I woke up at 4 a.m. because I heard the kids up. They were awake because they were all sleeping in the same room, all the cousins, and so I heard them at 4 o'clock in the morning. So me being, the Christmas guy, I went down because they were going to go out into where the tree was, where all the presents were, and I had to stop them. But nobody else was getting up. Like no one else was getting up. So I put them on the couch and I said, all right, we'll watch a movie. So at 4 o'clock in the morning on Christmas morning, I set up and they watched Encanto, which had just premiered, right? And they'd already seen it at the movies. So they watched Encanto from 4 to 6. I sat in the other room by the tree in the presents guarding everything. And I watched Don't Look Up from 4 to 6, had like 4 cups of coffee, was shaking. And so finally at 7:15, all the other parents came down. And I had been up for 3 hours and 15 minutes before we did Christmas morning.
And you were like, you're on duty, and you're on duty, and you're on duty.
No credit. And I don't want to be the braggart. It should have been, Jamie, we can't believe that you did that. That was so great. Thank you so much. No credit. So I had to be like, hey, do you know what just happened? Do you know what?
Yeah.
Do you do the same, Claire?
No, my 14-year-old has slept till 2 p.m. the last 2 days.
Oh.
She's like, I don't care about Christmas.
Are you feeling sick or no?
No, not really. No,
Okay.
she's just
You're sleeping till 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Like
Jamie, next
it's-
time the movie you have to pop in has to be something like Dawn of the Dead, so that the kids start to relate to getting up too early equals terrifying movies. Not Encanto, let's get up at 3. Maybe we'll get a double feature tonight from Dad.
Mhm.
Come on, man. Come on.
Good thinking.
Yeah,
Good
that's
so smart, Dave.
that's
Merry
rookie shit
Christmas.
there.
I
And
became
here's
a father
Clockwork
theater.
Orange. Enjoy.
That's right. And then come out a little bit later singing in the rain and watch them all start twitching. Uh-huh.
And be like, you guys are gonna be so tired later. I'm gonna have to pin your eyelids open. Does that
That's
ring a
right.
bell, anyone?
Yeah.
Remember
I
that
rallied
part of the
hard.
movie?
I rallied. Did you guys? I mean, even though everyone was feeling pretty bad, I feel like all you guys rallied. Like for Christmas Day, everyone
rallied
had to step
today.
up.
Yeah.
The twins were really well composed during the gift opening. Like they were calm and like they seemed to enjoy each present. Like they didn't just tear through them. And I don't know if it was because their grandparents were here watching that they put on the act, but they really, really did like sit down and Christmas morning was delightful.
Yeah, ours was pretty mellow too. The kids were actually I thought it was gonna be like raccoons in a garbage can just tearing to shreds stuff, but they were actually like, okay, whose turn is it? And I was like, it was so spooky. It was weird. Yeah. It's nice.
Hey, talking about interesting things that you can do, and like Claire with her way to push Christmas off a day or two.
Yeah.
When you see, I've got multiple children, so I got to the point where half of my children believed and half did not.
How many do you have?
Between my wife and I, we have 11.
Are we doing a bit? Is that a bit?
No, I wish it was a bit. It's 11. I have 8. My wife has 3, and I still haven't lost the baby weight.
I mean, no, sorry. Go back.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I can't let you proceed.
I'm not
With
hearing you right. It does sound
8.
odd.
You made 8 yourself?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I had a little help. I had a little help.
You had a little help.
Yeah. So,
How crazy is she marrying into a family with another guy that has 8? Right, like, that shows how crazy she is.
I mean, Claire, I really want to know how Claire feels because she's the resident lots of kids person, and she has been schooled just now.
I'm a little bit like ashamed.
Yeah. Only 4, Claire?
I kind of want to just like bow my head. Although I did have one more than his wife, so I just want to say that.
Yes, that's true.
you
Plus,
should
had
be
all 4 of hers in like 2.5 years. So she really.
What is this? I can't figure out but you should be aware. Maybe having Claire and I on the same level here, somebody's going to end up with a digital baby. You got to. That's better. Very potent.
Get me off this level! Get me off this level!
It's your next.
So this is what we did. Once the kids got to a certain age, and there was no fucking way I was going to keep buying good presents for Santa. We started talking to the kids. We're like, this is what's going on.
Okay.
Why? How come the rest of the kids didn't get presents from Santa? Well, that's because now that they're a little older, they've decided to donate their presents, and they've told Santa to just drop them off at the houses of children that need them. And then they were like, oh yeah. And I'm like, would you like to start doing that? No. But, and I know my son Damien, he is the sweetest child on planet Earth. I'm sorry, all the rest of you with children.
I'm sorry, the other 10 of them.
They don't hold up a candle to him. He is like the sweetest heart. He will walk up to people randomly in the grocery store to just compliment them, and Kate, that sweater goes beautifully with your hair. You're hearing that from like a 6-year-old boy. That's what he would do this and just blow your mind. But then I said to Damien, and I go, well, that's because your brothers and sisters wanted to have those gifts donated, honey, to children in need. And he goes, Daddy, can you just ask them to have Santa give me their presents then? So the kind-heartedness, I realized, is a fucking facade. It's all a fucking facade. There's no kindness. There's no love. He's doing these nice things and complimenting people, knowing I'm watching and there's going to be presents.
Just out of curiosity, can I get Damien's number real quick? I think this might be my people.
Yeah, he's a smooth operator, and he still is. But when he was real little, he would do that and would go up and hold women's hands at the grocery store and compliment them.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and it would be better if it was with me, but it was always when he was with his mom, because that'd be like a great wingman for me during the solo time. Nope.
Like, hello.
Nope. No.
Perfect.
That's funny.
So now, Dave,
and when he's with me, he's like, "Ew, stop farting in the aisle, Dad." Dick.
Yep, I definitely need his number.
Yeah.
So, Dave, what are the ages, the ascending ages?
I was just going to ask.
Quick run through.
Oh, he has no idea.
My oldest is 2 years younger than my current wife. She's 38. Yeah, I bet
that's gone well.
It has. My wife,
okay.
and I just met her 4 years ago. My oldest daughter. I didn't know I fathered her. I was only 14 at the time. So, we met through Ancestry.com, which is pretty cool. Then
again, not a bit.
I was waiting for Mulligan to go.
Yeah.
Is that a bit?
Swear to God.
Did you see? I had my head tilted. I was just waiting for her to pounce.
All right.
Yeah.
Schrader.
Oh, it gets better.
We get from scratch and tell the whole story.
So okay. So when I was 14, I was best friends with the girl across the street. She was a couple years older than me. We did everything. We hung out. We watched movies. She introduced me to music and games and everything. But then when it got to the age when, she was 16, I was 14, and I could ask her anything. And I started asking her about sex, and she's just like, "Fuck, I'll show you." Okay.
Oh.
So we started fucking around, and I remember when she got pregnant. And I'm like, could it be mine? And she's like, no, dummy, you're a boy. My boyfriend's a man. He's 19. I'm like, oh, okay. Makes sense to me. But the guy that wasn't a man was still banging his girlfriend a bunch of times. Right. So there's something amiss in that Whoville. But she ended up giving the baby away for adoption. And like 15 years ago, she came back into my friend's life and had been in contact with her and the man she thought was her father. And right after my mom passed away 5 years ago, my cousin, who's big into genealogy, said, "Hey, your mom was going to do ancestry for me because I'm trying to build our tree. Would you spit in this vial?" And I'm like, "Sure." Send it in. And all of a sudden I get this message back, "You have a parental connection." And I'm like, "What does that mean?" And my cousin calls me and goes, "Means you have a daughter." And I'm like, "Well, I got a bunch of daughters." She's like, "No, you have a 30 4-year-old daughter. I'm like, what? So I started doing the math, putting my age back, and I'm like, oh my God, it's got to be Karen. So I looked this girl up on Facebook, and sure enough, in her top friends is my old high school friend that I grew up with. So it connected. So she's 38. Then my next son is now 34. And then my daughter's 26. Then my next son is 24, and then there is 19, and then let's see, 17, and then 14, or just turned 15, and then we have 12. And then my wife's got a boy that's 18-year-old, and a son that's 15, and another son that's 10. So
how many are in the house with you?
all of them.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
No, the only ones that still live
I need
with
a
us
drink.
are her three boys, and my two youngest daughters are still living with me.
That's like that horror film where they're on the phone and the cops are like, they're in the house.
The call's coming from in the house. That's right.
Well, Kate, the other fun part is that
Oh my God.
2 years ago,
Yeah.
I'm on set filming the Holzer Files, and I get a break, and I take my phone out, and I'm sitting there, and I'm flipping through my emails, and it says an email from snarkyt.com, and then the comment says ancestry.com results, and I'm like, oh, this looks like a spam email, right?
Yeah.
It's coming from a totally different email, nothing to do with Ancestry, but I clicked it, and it's like, hey, this is going to sound weird, but for Christmas we bought my dad an ancestry.com kit, and we just got the results back, and you're his son. And I'd never met my bio dad. So check this out. So 2 years ago, I find my father, who has 8 children. So pretty cool. So there you go. So my family has just blown up and gotten bigger over the years. So now I've got 7 siblings I never knew existed, and bio.
I'm actually also Dave's son.
It's true. And Kate Mulligan, the results are in, and I am your father. Give Daddy a hug, honey.
You know what? That's like incredibly cool.
Maybe I should stop trusting these knitted condoms.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, those are not working, my man.
Not at all.
That's so funny.
There's so many stories from like our generation up of these lost siblings, lost like children because of what our parents and women and men were made to sort of go through with unwanted, or not unwanted, but unplanned pregnancies, let's say. You know,
Oh no, Dave was definitely unwanted. Let's be real clear about that. I've known this guy for 25 minutes and nobody wanted him.
I'm super happy for you, Dave. That sounds
Thank you.
No, that is an amazing story.
Yeah.
It's
I have
almost
not done it. Have you guys done it? I didn't do it.
Yeah.
My brother does it. My brother has taken our genealogy all the way back to like the Pilgrims. Like he's gone all the way back. Like the American Revolution, we have some people in.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He's gone crazy back. And he has documented the whole thing out with photos and gravestones.
The real question is, how many people did you have in the Easter Rebellion? That's the real question, Caitlin.
We were the entire Easter Rebellion.
Ireland joke. Everybody.
Ireland joke. There you go now.
That's Dave. It almost feels like a bridge too far. Like your story. It's like no. It's like I found a daughter I had that when I was 14 and was just practicing sex, but then also I found my biological. Like I'm just sort of like no. This is like the movie Precious. There's too many elements that make this unbelievable. Like
it's estimated by 2025, 1 out of 4 people will be in Dave Schrader's family.
That is true. It is true.
It's like that Key and Peele sketch, like, I'm related to Thomas Jefferson. It's like, I found out I'm related to Dave Schrader.
You know, a lot of people are also finding out that their father is not their father. You know, when you like every family, when we were a kid, had that one sibling where it was like, well, that sibling doesn't look anything like the rest of the family. And yet he looks oddly like the next door neighbor. Because back in the day, they would have, there's a whole, I think there's a whole Facebook group of thousands of people of that ilk who that was, they thought they had their parents and the parents kind of thought they did. And the mother was probably like 50-50. I don't know what's happening. And it turns out they weren't. And that's a lot of people are finding out that now.
Listen, it can happen if you have a lot of sleep paralysis. Just don't worry. It's not intention. You just sometimes have sleep paralysis and you can't get the person off you. I'm just saying.
Wait, Kate, did you do the 23andMe or Ancestry?
I did Ancestry, yeah.
You did?
Yeah. I was actually very nervous. I was related to my husband. If you've ever seen Dickie, we have the same face, but he has
My wife and I
look the same.
I think I've said this before, is that her best friend, who did not like me, always said he just wants to go out with you because he's so narcissistic. He wants to see what it's like to sleep with himself. That's what her friend said for a while. And we are very similar.
No, Dickie and I have this. Yeah, we have the same.
So when we did the blood test, I was like, "This is going to come back. We're related, and this is over." I didn't think we were going to go forward past that. It was like my network test. I thought for sure I would fail it, and then unfortunately I passed it. So.
Yeah.
Well, I married outside of my coverage. I definitely married a woman that is beautiful and looks nothing like me. So
Nice.
She is lovely.
For the audio listeners.
Although when we kiss, our goatees lock like Velcro.
It's a Velcro connection.
Velcro.
I love that song by Kermit the Frog.
My sister gave me the Ancestry kit, I think 2 Christmases ago, and I haven't done it yet. There's no reason.
Freak her out and have the neighbors spit in the jar and send it in under your name. Do it.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's follow that journey.
That does make me wonder, like, do people ever do hoax submissions? Like,
I'm sure.
Oh,
so
Jason sells clear urine all the time. Does that happen to you, Jason?
How do you think I paid for Christmas?
Here's the other thing. At least now I'm not speaking on relevant information because I have not looked at this in the last 24 months, so 2 years. But 2 years ago, my father-in-law did the Ancestry thing, and he is from he's a Native American, and he definitely has strong lineage with the tribes. And he did the Ancestry thing, sent it in, and it came back 0% Native American. And so he was like, what? That's crazy. So he called, and they were like, yeah, we don't have those markers in there yet. So they have markers to identify.
That's crazy. Yeah.
It is funny. I have what happens is I actually recently got an update. I only did it once, but they do once they get more. They were like, here's the actual town in Ireland. I mean, it was it didn't change the significance of what, of where I was from at all. But it was they did say we have an update available to your results.
They're clone you. That's what they're doing. They're using those to clone you.
Well, that's what one of my
replace you a la body snatchers.
Well, it's funny because one of my friends was like, why would you do that? Now the government has your DNA. And I was like,
they have it anyway.
I was like, they have it anyway, but I was like, I didn't send it to the government.
I'm also 100%
company has my
convinced
DNA.
that if the government did have my DNA and they were making super soldiers, they would not be using mine to do it.
Well, they always have to start with a baseline, Jason. You are like the before
the
and after photograph.
I'm just slightly above Muppet, so
You're like the litmus test,
Yeah. This is what we're not shooting for.
No, but
this is what we're looking for.
That's such a good point. People with the Vax cards, people with, the apps and whatnot, track. I'm like, we've been tracked since the day we were born. Our generation has, between social security numbers and every, birth certificates and whatnot. It's like, who cares? I'm not doing anything wrong. I don't mind if you are.
I love the fact that
on me.
I love the fact that they're now solving all of these cold cases that are 30, 40, 50 years old by doing it through Ancestry. And I love all the people up in arms about it. I'm like, I think everybody should give blood and everybody should be a part of this database. And they're like, no, that's a violation. No, it's not. Not until one of your kids end up missing or hurt and you want to know who did it.
Yes.
Then you would definitely want to know. And I have people fight man it all the time. I'm like, well, there's enough shit in life to really be worried about, knowing the fact that in their database, if bad guys knew that all of the DNA existed out there, and that if you do a crime, you're going to get caught. It's, you're going to have a couple of maniacal morons that are going to continue to do it, but for the rest of the world, they're going to be like, I'm tipping out.
No, I am so with you. I 100% agree. Thank you for saying that. I'm with you.
I will add on to this. That means something coming from you, because as Thomas Franklin Stovall said, like you're somebody who could have a bad relationship with Ancestry, considering it found a daughter and a dad. Like, you could just be like, no, let's no more giving blood. I don't need any more mysteries solved.
I think that's just the tip of the Schrader iceberg, really. I think there's more out there.
We shouldn't use it to do parentage, but it should definitely be there for unsolved crimes. Although 2 of the 3 of us would no longer be live on the air with that in the booth. Am I right, Jamie?
When they put your DNA into the machine, it's like a paper jam. It just goes in. The thing like, and the thing just kicks off and goes, what happened? It's like too many numbers. It got confused. It didn't know what was happening.
That's I have no opinions about my DNA whatsoever. Did you guys bank your kids' cord blood?
No.
I did not do that, but I definitely save their teeth when they fall out, because I'm like, I know the stem cells in that. We're going to get some stem cells out them teeth someday.
Jobo showing up.
Jobo's in the house.
Hey, Jobo. You got to have him on the show.
I feel bad to the other fans that we don't make such a big deal out of every week.
I don't know about you guys. We're right. We got to be close to the end. We can't go long tonight. I don't know about you guys. I'm hanging on by a
one more question for Dave.
Yes,
you
only have one. I have 97.
I know, I really have about that many.
I'll stay on after the show drops, and we can
23
chat.
of me.
Yes.
So Dave, when you first had exposure to the child that you fathered when you were 14, which you clearly had no idea about for a very, very long time, what was the first conversation with your child like?
Here was the deal. We got a message. So they say, do you want to send this person a message? So I just wrote her and I said, listen, I just got this. I know who your mom is. I know how this all happened. I also understand that you've believed another man to be your dad for many years, and I don't want to come in and destroy anything. So I'm here if you would ever like to get to know me, but I also want to not upset your apple cart. You've had a very nice family. You were brought up by an adoptive family. Your biological mom and the man that thinks you're his daughter, and he had no children. So that really kind of broke my heart. This was his only child in life. And like a greedy whore, I just grabbed that one too. So I felt bad. And then she wrote me back. She's like, are you crazy? No, you're my dad. I want to get to know you. And here's what I thought was really cool. So that was like, I want to say like June, July. My current wife and I got married on November 18th. My daughter got ordained as a minister through the Universal Church of Light or whatever it is, so she could come to Minnesota and preside. So the first time I met her in person was to preside over my wedding.
No, a bridge too far, Dave.
It's all true, Kate Mulligan, and it's going to be on Hallmark next year.
It was all a trap so she could get him into confessional.
I love that.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So it's pretty neat. So my daughter, our first engagement with her, and I thought it was important too, because, there was this weird moment. My wife and I were 14 years apart. And, when I find out about this other kid, we are just getting along. We're just like, we just got engaged. And I'm like, so it turns out I have a daughter and she's 2 years younger than you. And my wife's like, all right, that's going to take a little adjustment, but it doesn't matter to me. And I said, okay. And we, and she got along fine. It's funny because my daughter calls her mom and jokes around about it. And is, they're great. Everybody's very loving. My oldest son is kind of standoffish about the whole thing. He's like, I've lived 34 years without having a sister older than me. I don't need one. And that's fine. I haven't pushed anybody together. They met, all of them have met, all of the siblings have met now. So that's kind of cool and exciting. And, but
was your son like, I could have become a minister, you asshat. How dare you?
No, my son would have none of that. Besides, he was working that night. So every other child I had was there except for my oldest son. So.
Oh yeah. He's drawing his line in the sand. Wait, so your friend from when you were 14, when she was 16, she gave the child up for adoption.
Right.
And then was your daughter raised by an adoptive family, or
Yeah.
was she okay? So then, how did she then later on in life meet the woman, her biological mother?
I think it was when she turned 18.
Okay.
But the
for
mother
her
still
birthday.
thought it was the older guy, the 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh, so he then.
Yeah.
When she saw her, does she look like you?
Oh yeah, she definitely looks like an amalgam of me and my old friend Karen. So
Wow.
now, sadly, Karen, the mother, passed away a year and a half ago. So I'm glad I came into her life right at this point, because she lost her adoptive mom 5-6 years ago, then lost her bio mom. So her adopted dad and me get along great. Larry, he's a great guy, and I thank him every time I see him for doing such a great job raising her. And when I hear about,
and you know what, like, how could you didn't have any idea? Like,
no,
literally,
No.
it's not a situation where you were like, yes, let's give this baby up for adoption or whatever. You literally had no idea.
Well, that's what my daughter said. She's like, Dad, are you mad? And I said, no. And she's like, why? And I said, I love you. I'm glad that you're my daughter. But I was 14 years old. And had my parents found out, they would have insisted on adopting you. And that would have caused waves between my mom and dad that raised me. And things just would have gotten out of control. And the fact of the matter is, you have two wonderful parents that loved you and raised you. And now you get the benefit of having your biological mom and your biological dad in. The sad thing is when the other guy found out he wasn't the dad, he really kind of broke strands with her. I think he talks to her by text once a year now, which I think is a bummer after being close to her for 14 years. And to my grandson, Connor, that was it. So, yeah. But
I think we're all missing a major part of the story.
Yeah.
And that is the fact that, dude, you were 14 knocking boots with a 16-year-old. How cool were you at 14?
Really cool, dude.
Man.
Really cool.
Well, I don't think it was that cool. My first time, I thought I was having a heart attack, and I went home crying. So there's the truth of my story. Yeah, because nobody ever explained to me.
Continues today.
Nobody ever explained what an orgasm is supposed to feel like. So when everything goes, I just was like, oh, I'm dying. Something bad's happening. My body's reacting weird, right? So I got done. I looked at her in terror. I pulled on my clothes and I went home and cried. And I was like, what? This is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
And then I went over there 2 days later and I go, is that normal? And she goes, yeah, that's called an orgasm. And then she goes, come on. And we did it again. And, it was easier the second time. And, and things just went, I learned.
What did it look like? What did it look like the second time? You gave us a real visual of the first.
For those of you that missed it, first time, right? Second time was more along the lines of fascinating.
I don't believe that for a second, because every single time it's always,
it
doesn't matter. Yeah. I don't care if it's your 1 millionth time.
But he did still go home and cry after.
Yeah, I don't care if you're alone in a closet somewhere.
I cuddled up to her and cried. Jason. I figured at that point we had shared enough. So yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, but
how many times
when you told the story, you said, she was older than we were super friends. We did everything together, and so I asked her about sex, and she said, "Well, look, why don't I just show you?" I love that part of the story. It's so insane and
I want to meet her.
Bullshitty.
I know.
I just asked her. I said, "Hey, what's up with this sex stuff?" And she goes, "Oh, well, I'll show you." That's what you
I
said.
condensed the story. Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about it, and then she saw I was stressing so much. She's just like, "Just come on, I'll show you." And that was it. It really was just like
She's
anytime.
Like, come on, I'll show you. What? It's not like we're gonna have a baby together that you're gonna find out about when you're marrying a woman that's 36 years old and the daughter's 34.
Yeah. A special lady. Come on. That's like saying, I just don't understand serial killers. You don't? It's easy. Come on, let me show you. Like anything.
Jamie, the fact that you're equating sex to serial killer makes me worried for your entire family.
My brain was trying to think of something where
let me tell you something.
So obscure that she would go. I mean, it's kind of supposed to be a special private
moment.
It's not one of those things of like,
it was.
You've never
They were best friends.
You had to bake a cake.
We were best friends, and she took the fear out of it for me. She took the
what 16-year-old girl's best friend's a 14-year-old boy?
Well,
something's
you gotta-
wonky in the story.
You got to remember that we walk it back. I moved in there when I was 5 and she was 7, so we grew up together as best friends. We weren't just like, hey, I'm 14, you're 16, let's be best friends. We were young kids that grew up together playing in the neighborhood, and that was back in the day when kids left their house and made friends with people in the neighborhood, and they would
Feels
play
like
out
you
all
watched
night.
Blue Lagoon and you kind of put this weird.
Jamie, I don't think you know this, but the shit TV show The Wonder Years is actually based on Dave Schrader's life.
Yes. What would you do if I sang out of tune?
He put the cock in cocker, I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
Does anybody have anything else? I have one little thing I want to tell you is that my daughter Hannah, we went to go do. I went to go take her. We went to go do a hike. We did Vasquez Ravine on the day after Christmas, and she goes, I don't want to go or something. And I said, come on, Hannah, have I ever let you down? And she paused for a second. She goes, well, there was that one time you asked me to taste a radish. And I go, all right, fine. Once I let you down badly. But it blew my mind because it was like 2 years ago and it still resonated in your head. When I said let you down, she goes, no, you did let me down badly.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie, I don't ask my kids that rhetorical question anymore because they come back with answers, and I'm sure Dave will concur.
They got receipts.
Dave, have you ever let your kids down?
Here's my other fathering tip. Never ask a question you don't know the answer to. Right?
That's a lawyer tip.
That's sales, lawyers, and parents.
Yeah.
And how have I let them down? Let me count the ways. Just being alive, you let your children down, right? I see the displeasure. And then when I would drive in and drop my kids off at preschool at the Lutheran church, and my license plate says darkness, and I've got a big skull sticker on my window, and everybody's like, that boy's going to hell. Every time I pull into the Walmart parking lot, there's like Jehovah Witnesses things in my windshield, and my kids already are just humiliated by me everywhere we go. So yes, I see disappointment everywhere.
I mean,
yeah,
I feel like I'm doing great.
See, I'm glad. See, comparatively, each one of you should be feeling much better about your lives right about now.
Dave, I didn't have sex till I was 21 years old.
That's okay. I did enough to catch it up for you.
I know. Thank you. Well, listen, I was starting at 21. I made up for it myself. But
there you go.
That being said,
when I was dating my wife, she told me something like that. And then, in conversation, something would come out like years later, like something would come out. I go, wait a minute, you told me, it was, and all of a sudden she started backtracking stories. So I love when you're dating someone and they go, oh no, I was like 32. I'm pretty.
I legitimately was 21, but I mean, there was.
I believe you.
Yeah, you've seen me back in the day, just bangs.
We've seen some of your previous Halloween costumes, so we know.
Claire was at NYU when she was like 12, so we don't even go down that road.
I'm just keeping quiet on this whole subject.
As I said, I made up for it.
Hey, listen, I wouldn't. I mean, I probably should do 23andMe at some point.
Yeah,
it has to be.
Let's do that for the new year, Jamie, because I've never done it either.
I mean, that's the beauty, I guess, of being a woman. You don't have to guess. You know. And so
that'd be so funny if you got a message. It goes, "You're my mom." I am. I was in sleep paralysis, Kate. For like a while, I was sleep paralysis. I had a baby.
Hey, Jason, let me save you the money, Jason. You don't even have to do Ancestry.com because you don't get DNA from sweat socks growing up. I'm telling you.
Hey,
you can't get them pregnant. You cannot get them pregnant. No matter how many times you're thinking of Natalie Portman, she's not pregnant.
We should do an episode on boys and raising boys. Kate, I know you have 2 boys.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean I'll just end the episode here. Ready?
Yes.
My 2 boys, they're 8 and 9. The girls are, how old are they? 11 and 13, almost 12 and 14. So the boys found. And I'm not joking. It's like a back massager, like a sharper image back massager, right?
Mommy's back
Nothing serious or sexual about that at all.
No, I know, but it's just you could totally use it as the other.
Yeah,
I know how you use it, but I'm just saying it is versatile.
I mean, you can use an electric toothbrush.
Well, she almost made it through.
They're like rubbing that massager, not on their wiener or whatever. They're like, oh, if you hold this above your balls, it feels really good. And they're like trading back and forth, holding this massager. And I'm like, are you talking about on your wiener? And they're like, no, above it, where it feels really good right here. And I'm like, oh my God, give me that thing, you guys. Please go separate ways.
Yeah.
Hey, really quick, what's the model on that? What is that thing you get?
Can you snap a photo of that one real quick, Claire?
Really quick, send a photo of that to us.
It's the Backgasm 2001.
We're going to put it in the merch.
I stopped bathing them together when they were like, let's touch weenies. I walked into the bath. They're like humping each other. I'm like, ah!
It's called a joust, Claire.
You need to watch out for that, Jason, with your boys.
They're lightsaber battles, and stop being so fucking judgy.
Yeah.
Or if they're in the Ghostbusters phase, you don't cross the streams. There's a lot of ways this goes depending on where they are.
I've told this before, but I used to, when the girls were little tiny babies, I used to bathe with them in the tub or whatever. And I would always just put like a dish towel or like a towel over my junk so that it wasn't just to hide it. It was so that, the kids like to grab stuff in the tub. That's just, they grab everything in the tub. So, but I did it for a while. And then at one point, one of the kids was like, hey, Dad, how come you have a tail? I went to get out and I was kind of hiding myself, but I think they caught like a side glimpse and they were like, how come you have a tail? And I go, oh. And then I kind of laughed and I go, hey, make sure you tell your mother that Daddy has a tail, will you please? Or something. And that was the last time I ever bathed. I never bathed with the kids again.
Oh my God, that is the best wiener story I've ever heard.
Did you just see the subtle way Kaylor tried to talk talk size?
Yeah, he was like,
oh, it's a tail. It hung down so low.
I'm Irish. Hey, to a 1.5-year-old, yeah, it's a tail.
It was a little bit of a humble brag.
I mean, it wouldn't. Yeah. Listen, at 14, sure, it's going to get some damage done. I might, I can get a call from 23andMe. I don't know. It works. It works.
Kaylor, I had my father tells a story. My father tells a story of like one morning. It was the morning, and he was like making his coffee, and like at some point, like I just came into the kitchen. I sort of like smacked it, and I was like, "I like your tail," and kept walking.
Really? Was he nude?
No, it was just, like he was wearing like pajama pants,
Yeah.
The morning.
You see like the bump sticking out.
So you guys we had talked a couple of weeks ago about using the proper name for genitalia.
Yeah.
And so I decided it was time to stop calling Jace's business a pee-pee bug. So that's what we had been calling it. So we had don't, because you said your mom taught you tinkle. So we introduced penis to him, and we were driving to.
You introduced the word penis.
Yes,
please.
Yeah.
Let's clip that out.
Yeah,
and get Gallon arrested.
Christmas show of all time. By the
no,
way.
I wasn't telling. I'm asking. That's what you meant. Please.
Yes, that is what I meant. Thank you, David, for. Hate Kate Mulligan.
Clip it out.
So we went Christmas shopping, and we are in Michael's, and my son looks at me and goes, "Gosh, penis sure is fun to say, isn't it, Dad?" And then he goes, "Penis, penis," and he gets progressively louder as and I was like, it's great that you know the name now, but we don't need to be yelling it in Michael's. And he's like, "Penis, penis," and I'm like, God, please no.
It's actually so much better than pee bug. Like, it's definitely better this way, Jason. I'm just
it is, and it was. I hated both of them, so it is.
That's why I use the term John Thomas. By John Thomas.
Twig and berries.
So let's
wrap this thing. Somebody take us home and tell everybody what to do. We have a crazy year coming, 2022. We got a lot of stuff going down.
People are definitely going to like, subscribe, and share the podcast, because we have so many specials planned for 2022. And by planned, I mean they're somewhere in our heads right now.
And on a text chain.
Yes, true.
Right. And on a text chain. Yes, exactly. So like, subscribe, share with your friends, anybody who is a parent, anyone who's not a parent, anyone who's thinking about having kids, anyone who has kids out of the house. if you're dying. It's a great podcast for you. So, tune in.
Couldn't agree more. I think it's for anybody who wants to feel good about their life choices. I always say that.
Yeah.
If you're on Facebook, please like us, share us. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. Definitely write reviews if you can. And also give us comments, because we want to hear about other parenting stuff. Because, especially the stuff like with Schrader tonight, that was insane. And it's funny because somebody else is going through exactly what Dave just talked about and maybe feeling uncomfortable and feeling like it's not the norm. But I have friends who tell me stuff and they go, dude, I've talked to thousands of parents. It's happened to everybody. You think you're the only one on earth. You're not. It's like by hearing it from other people, it almost puts everybody at ease and kind of keeps the anxiety level of parenting down. So thanks to everybody for tuning in for this year. We'll see everybody in 2022 next Tuesday.
2022 when Dave has 12 kids.
And make sure everybody checks out my new album, Sentient Driftwood.
We'll be playing exclusive clips next week on the show.
I love it.
Jason, anything else to take us out or bring us home, brother?
You can catch us every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, and we'll see you guys next week on the Parents Lounge. Good night, everybody.